There are a number of reasons why I was attracted to Quakers. The first is I lead a busy life. I work in the City of London in finance, and I needed to have a reality check which would provide a balance in my life. The second reason is that I was born an Anglican, but I found that rather frustrating, and I like to have the direct relationship with God rather than through an intermediary of any kind. And thirdly, I was very impressed by the quality of the Quakers that I knew. They were modest people, but they achieved many things, and I felt I wanted to be part of that community.
Growing up, my dad used to take me to children's meeting at Street on a Sunday. My grandmother occasionally took me to Catholic church, and my mother throughout the year took me to the Goddess Conference or various other solstice and pagan celebrations in Glastonbury. So I had quite a broad range of faiths and traditions from which to choose from and be inspired by. And it wasn't until I was 18 that I really discovered Quakerism on my own terms, without my dad saying, "Rhiannon, I'm going to meeting, do you want to come with me?" It wasn't until I was 18 that I went to junior yearly meeting, and to be honest, I had to be kicked out the door because everything to do with Quakerism was so uncool and I didn't want to engage with it. And so on the recommendation of my dad, I went to junior yearly meeting, and at the age of 18, to be in a community of 200 like-minded peers for 4 days was just so stimulating and so inspiring, and basically changed my life. Coming back from junior yearly meeting at that time, I really felt like I'd found a community to which I could connect, to which I could challenge the world from, and to which I could feel safe in and supported in, both spiritually and politically. And by that I mean that I find spiritual nourishment within Quakers. I find a quiet space in which to reflect on the world, in which to reflect on my life, in which to reflect on the lives of others. And Quakerism also gives me a really loud space in which to practice my politics and practice activism and to challenge the world and to speak truth to power and to really try as far as we can to bring about the world that we want to live in through our actions and through our challenges. So Quakerism to me is quite a profound space actually. It's very radical, it's very stimulating, it's very exciting, and it is a huge part of my life.
My Quaker journey began without me realising it. It was a piece of synchronicity. And when I first came to the meeting house for Meeting for Worship, I enjoyed it very much and got a lot from it, so I kept coming back. I enjoy the simplicity of the meeting with simple flowers on the table, and I think this is conducive to creative thought, and the stillness makes thoughts come to people, and it's very enriching and creative time. Music is essential for me. A day when I don't do music is a day when I'm not alive. My work has been in music therapy. I've been working with adults with autism, and we build up relationships with them so that we work to help them communicate and express their feelings through playing music. So the clients that I've worked with have been able to express themselves, and we've built up a dialogue. They have no speech, so the speech is done through playing and receiving and listening to music.
I enjoy running for many reasons. I enjoy being solitary in natural surroundings. Somerset is a wonderful place. There are many quiet lanes and woodland tracks which are very uplifting and really set me up for the day and give me a slightly spiritual dimension to everything that happens afterwards. Meeting for Worship is very important to me because it's an opportunity in a very noisy and busy world, to be able to be entirely silent for an hour, and to be not only to do that, but to be able to share that with so many other people, that your short thoughts are magnified, and you can sometimes, if you are lucky, feel very connected to other people in the silence. It's a very powerful and extraordinary sensation.
My Quaker journey started when I was about 13, and I was sent to a school which was particularly promoted crafts, pottery and clay, and also happened to be a Quaker school. So I was introduced to clay, which has become the love of my life, and to meeting at the same time. And throughout life, and as my understanding of clay grew and my understanding of meeting grew, so I began to see distinct parallels, which I've seen all the way through life. One of the parallels is the issue of centering, the practice of centering both in meeting and in clay. Clay actually needs to be given structure initially by kneading, and then the clay is put on the wheel, and the clay needs to be manipulated and moved so it's actually all going the same way from the centre to the outside. And as a potter, when you're making lots of pots, that actually becomes quite a reflective internal process. You do it without thinking. And that's something that I find very specific to meeting, that I can go into meeting with all the noise of the world, all the worries of bills, all the sort of problems I've got, and I sit in the meeting house in what Quakers call silent waiting, and there's a quality that comes upon you which actually centres you, much as the potter centres the clay, so I feel that I become centred. And if that process extends with the other members of the meeting that become centred, it develops a very special quality that's a condition that Quakers call being gathered, having a gathered meeting. And that really is something unusual, something very good, it's something very healing. And it can come through silence, or it can come through a combination of silence and ministry from other people. But we all come out increased by it.